You know, things don't always go as planned. And I had a big plan. I set myself up pretty big for failure in this one. Wasn't a complete failure, but I'm kind of a perfectionist, maybe, not really, but I am. And to keep showing me not succeeding in my goal is frustrating. But I went through the whole process of recording and setting up, and through the whole process, and the pour was so nice. And the results are, they're workable, but I want you to be the judge. So I'm going to show you what I got, and a lot of what I recorded I'm not going to include because it's not pertinent. But if you want to see more of the process that I had planned, then you're going to have to let me know. Keep watching. Stay tuned. So one of the responsibilities of the hosting multi-GP chapter is to provide the prizes for the winning pilots. So the next race that I'm going to be attending is going to be one from my chapter. We're hosting it. So I'm going to help out the chapter president and making up some prizes. So what am I going to do? Well, I jumped into Fusion 360 and I designed up some medals. I 3D printed them. So as you see here, I got the first, the second, and the third prize. I've got, this is the gating system that I've designed up. These guys are gonna go kind of like this, one on each side, and then this is gonna be the feeder there. Now I do have some wax here that was given to me a while ago that I haven't got a chance to use it. It's a moldable, machinable type of wax. But I'm going to do something because these guys are just a little bit shorter than my feeder here, which is a good thing. It's what wasn't planned here, but I'm going to connect them just for extra stability, and they'll also be encased, and that way they're going to go like that. That way they're lower.
It was at this moment he knew. He f***ed up.
You'll see, I got some gluing to do. Alright, this is the plastic welding kit that I got from Arbor Freight, and I'm going to try to cut some wax with it. Cut and weld and melt, all that stuff. Just plugged it in. Should probably not want to touch the metal part. Alright, that was a bit messier than I was anticipating, but I was able to accomplish what I want. Some wax up there, kind of sturdy these guys up. Still going to give me some venting up and through, and we'll see what happens. I should get a good fill. The only thing I got to clean up is just right here, just a little bit. This might still be warm enough. Okay. Yeah, the PLA kind of acts like as a wick right to the wax. It kind of just sucks it right up. So, anywho, it's time to get to dipping. Alright, one last look before it goes in the dippy.
Well, this is going to be my first attempt at a little bit of a voiceover. As I got further into this process here, I discovered that the top geometry of my mold was really not conducive with the way I normally intend my venting and my top system to be. So I'm not going to bore you a whole lot with the entire process of me applying the Suspendaslurry and the sand to the whole process, but I do show a little bit here. And
alright, I had a little of this wax break, so I'm having to do a little bit of a repair I'm not really happy about. Just finishing out the first coat and something went wrong. All right. Guess I'm going to go in for another dip. It's going to take a little bit. See when it gets to like 5 coats, maybe 6, even 7, but it'll be a lot fatter. Okay, this thing's got several coats on it. I'm gonna let it dry overnight and we're gonna fire it up in the next scene. Stay tuned. Okay, this thing's been sitting drying for quite a while. Weather didn't permit me to cast them for the last race, so once again there's another race coming up, so I'm going to use him for that. I do have to do a little cleanup of the top here in order to give the metal or the plastic a way to melt out of it. And then I've got the kiln set up. I'm going to burn it out in the kiln for a couple hours. And okay, so after a little bit of farting around, I got pretty much an opening. This is just a thin layer of cardboard. Should fall right off and incinerate right inside. But I'm gonna throw this in the kiln for a little bit and then we'll see what happens. Oh, I gotta get one thing. Yeah, I'm gonna put a tray under it first. Alright, I'm going high and high. Set countdown for 1 hour.
Your timer is set for 1 hour.
I'm checking back with it in an hour.
1 hour later.
Okay, it's been 1 hour. We're just over 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Let's take a look and see what we see inside. Alright, it's definitely got some melted parts coming out. I don't see any more smoke. So I'm going to set my alarm for another hour and we'll check back on it. Set countdown for 1 hour.
Okay, your timer is set for 1 hour.
1 hour later.
Okay, it's been another hour. You see we're just under 1,500 degrees Fahrenheit. Let me take a peek.
Excuse me. All right, move on. Nothing to see here. Please disperse.
She's hot. Alright, I'm in the final stages here. I am going to set it for 1 more hour. After that, I'm just going to let it cool down so that I can handle it, and then it's time to melt. And then of course there's more to the process, so keep watching. Don't forget to hit that like button and make sure that you're subscribed at this point. But don't leave yet, because there's still more to come.
1 hour later.
Okay, it's been another hour. The temperature is well over 1,500 degrees. this point I've turned it off, and I'm just gonna let it cool. Then I gotta melt some metal and we're gonna pour it.
The next day.
Okay, so it's actually the next day, and this is a little warmer out today than it was yesterday, but this has had a chance to cool so I can handle it. And as you see, hoping that the camera's gonna pick it up, but it's burned out pretty clean. So I'm pretty much set up with my furnace and everything to start melting, so I'm gonna melt and we're gonna pour and see what happens. Alright, I gotta wait for this thing to cool off and then we're gonna crack it open and see what we got. Stick around. While that is cooling, I will show you the condition of my 3-year-old furnace. As you see, the walls are starting to collapse. I did have a little bit, it was sticking above the crucible a little bit too much, and as it started to melt, it went over towards the edge, and I didn't catch it, and it ended up in the bottom. The lid's over there, it's just as hot, but it is in pretty bad condition, and I am in dire need of replacing it. So I don't know how many more melts it's gonna get, but I've got another situation coming up that I'm going to talk about later on in a different video. But it's still over there cooling. It's only been a couple minutes, so I gotta wait for it to cool down. But once again, if you haven't liked this video or subscribed yet, please do so. Also, there's a bunch of stuff down in the description you can read after you finish watching, but keep watching. Okay, this thing's been cooling for a little while. Now the reason that I didn't quench it in water is because I just found that the bubbling of it might affect the outcome of the surface finish, so just doing it this way. Alright, I'm gonna crack this thing open. Well, I see letters on all of them. Numbers and letters. Oh, the hook didn't come out. So the placement of the hooks was not the greatest. Which leads me to present day. And here is the dilemma, so that you're in full understanding of what the whole project was to be. So if these had cast completely, as you see here, it got part of the hook. Now if I had vented that hook into it, or which I have reprinted a different gate as part of this whole process. So let me get back on track. So if this had completely been perfect the way it should have been, I would have been able to cut this part off, and of course this was some wax that had dripped down the back side of it that I didn't get cleaned up. That's the first place. Let's look at the second place here real quick. So pretty much the same discrepancy with the hook part, but as far as now the second place, it had a nice clean back. Now I'm hoping that it's gonna show how nice and clean, which is, you know, what the next process was going to be, as I will completely finish discussing. So that was to hang, like, my thought was to actually use like a lanyard that we use for holding our controller up, and use that to, you know, like a medal. Okay, so they follow me with the process. So what I could do is I could clean this up nice up, you know, and get it to where it would be, you know, you wouldn't see any of this, and then just drill a hole. Okay, that's my option. Or I just scratch this whole process and I cast some new ones, and I go on from there. Because here's the next part of this, and I guess I was gonna try to make this all one video and it didn't quite work out. I have to mute my phone. But the race is coming up, okay, on the 14th of December. Okay, I believe. I'll correct myself in editing if that's not correct. So the race is on the 14th. I'm gonna publish this weekend, which is this weekend. This part of the video is being made right now. The rest of it was done like a week ago. it took me a week to mull it over, and I was inspired today as to how I can handle this because I've got all this great footage, and these things really can be cleaned up and used, and I just need to drill a hole. So the next part of this process is, this is just the generic, okay? So part of the intro that you didn't get to see, I'll put at the end as far as like a little what do you call it, bloopers reel. So but I plan on painting this, and then we're going to go visit my buddy Bear with his laser, and we're going to laser engrave the information about the race and all that stuff on it, and I'll make a video about that process as well. And then of course the race will happen, and that is going to be, hopefully, if the internet is good enough, will be live streamed. And if you are interested in that being streamed on my channel and you'll get to see the whole race process, then let me know as well in the comments. So I'm hoping that enough of you are watching this all the way to the end, and you're going to interact with me and give me your information. So like I said, I'm moving, okay? Like today is Saturday when I'm saying this, and I'm moving Friday, this coming Friday. Okay, so my time constraint between now and the time I've got to move and the race, and the conditions of my furnace, it just doesn't work for me to redo these for this race. So do you think that these are worthy of a race prize? Let me know in the comments section. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you keep on coming back, because there's going to be more inside the Mine of Matt. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you haven't yet. Check down in the description for all kinds of links that you can save money, as well as ways that you can directly support the channel. Once again, happy printing, be safe pouring, and have fun racing. See you soon. Peace in, everybody. What does 3D printing, lost PLA casting, laser engraving, painting, and drone racing all have in common? Well, they're all going to be in this video. If you want to see, make sure you watch the rest of it. Stay tuned.